Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial, we are going to use the 3 micro mini micas that come in the Artistry Advent box to create a rustic patina-like tumbler. You might ask, did we skip day 10? Yes, we did, because I have a really hard time working with small surfaces, and there were 3 stainless steel pens which were awesome quality included in day 10 of this box. However, we just couldn't get along, so we're skipping right to the micas, and we'll revisit the pens later on in the future if we can make amends. So to start this out, I want to give it a rustic look to begin with. So I'm taking my Color Shot black paint, and I'm giving this a very light coat of that black. You can see that I'm holding the tumbler away from the can about 1.5 to 2 foot, and then I'm going to take Hammered Copper by Rust-Oleum and do very short bursts on top of my black while it is still wet. Again, while it is still wet, I'm going to go back in with my black and do short bursts with it to cover up some of those areas of the hammered copper. And what you're going to get is this aged copper patina look, but with just more black. We are going to go in with these 3 micro minis to enhance this a little bit more and add a little bit of a pop of color all over this tumbler that will match our decal. I have went over this tumbler with a very thin coat of epoxy, as if we were using the epoxy method to apply some glitter. I'm going to take each of these micro minis and tap my finger on the back side of the container as I'm holding at a very, very slight angle so that just a little bit of those micas fall out of the bottle onto the tumbler. I want very small little dots. As this spins, it's going to spread out just a little bit and very lightly blend into each other. For the most part, they do stay put, so just be cautious of where all those micas fall so that they don't overlap each other too much and just look like a blob. If you want to use different colors than what are available, which are these 3 micro minis on the artistry.com website, then you can most certainly take one of your larger mica containers or anything that you have and use a chip brush, the cheap ones that are used a lot of times to do wood grains with alcohol inks, and you can just dip the end of the brush into your micas, get a very, very tiny bit on the end of that brush and tap it over your tumbler or your project, and you will get the same effect. If you use a makeup brush, you're going to get very fine particles of these micas, but if you use the chip brush, then you will get those little clumps of micas, just as we have here. Just keep going until you're happy with the coverage, and then put that on your turner to cure completely. And you can do a couple of things. You can either use a makeup brush that has some soft, fine bristles and brush off the excess mica, or you can spray seal it with a matte clear coat to seal those micas in so that whenever you add your epoxy on top of that, if there's any clumps of micas left, it's not going to spread all over your tumbler and cause them to blend in together. So make sure you either brush it off or seal it in before you add on a layer of epoxy before your decal. I'm of course using the Artistry 1:1 ratio facet epoxy, so for me it doesn't take very long in between coats, anywhere from 2 to 3 hours to be able to dust it off and go into this next coat so I can add my decal. I normally don't show my in-between coats of epoxy, but I did want to show you on this one specifically because it has a handle. On the handle, I usually go around it first. Once I first put my epoxy on there, I do very thin coats on my handle, and then at the bottom of the handles, after I have coated the entire tumbler, I just kind of run my finger around them so I can get any excess epoxy up so that the epoxy does not pull around the bottom of my handles. Our decal is from Gracefully Created. This is a white decal, which means the image is printed on top of white ink on a clear vinyl. So it will show up on any color surface. I'm going to use the hinge method to straighten this up on this tumbler, press down the exposed sticky portion of my decal, and then I will press the decal down while removing the backing. This is the best way to minimize the amount of bubbles and touching the back of your vinyl. After that decal is on there and you have the edges pressed down really well, you can go in with your final 2 layers of epoxy, and we have made a tumbler in a day. I am really happy with the way that this one turned out. It would be such a good tumbler to have in your shop as a ready to ship item for gifts or any special occasions, because it's so easy to make. And although this would be super cute on a larger tumbler, I feel like this morning mug from the Steel Magnolia is just perfect for this design. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below and I will answer them as quickly as possible. All materials that I have used in this tutorial will be listed down in the description below, along with some coupon codes for y'all. We have so many new and exciting things coming early in 2023 that you're not going to want to miss. So if you're not following us on our social accounts, we are on Instagram. We have a private Facebook group that is 100% free. We do not charge subscription fees or anything like that. So make sure you are following us on Instagram, part of our Facebook group, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is all for today. Thank you all so much, and we will see you next time.